Hello, and thank you for coming to NYSEX.com to check out Lizzy's CRM system. In this video, we're going to go through how to create a contact inside of Lizzy. And before we get started, I want to explain just a few differences that you may see or may notice inside of Lizzy that is, in some cases, drastically different than some of the other applications on the market today. Primarily inside of Lizzy, we track a contact or business as a single entity inside of the system. So instead of having the concept of having an account versus a contact versus an opportunity, inside of Lizzy, you're going to notice that there's only one record inside of the system that tracks that company or that employee or that customer throughout the entire process. So there is no escalating from one thing to another. For example, having a lead to us is just a contact record that we haven't contacted yet. As soon as they get contacted, they may have an opportunity created for them, but it's still the same contact record throughout the system. So let's get started and actually create a new contact inside of Lizzy. So to get started, the first thing that you're going to notice is that there actually is not an add new contact record here. Now we do have the ability to import contact records inside of Lizzy, but in this example, we're going to create one on the fly. But before we can actually create a contact record, we need to actually locate the contact first. And the primary reasoning behind that should be obvious, but we want to make sure that the record's not already here. Perhaps another employee added them in already, or they were imported in with a list that we weren't even aware of. So we need to actually do a search first. So here, what I'm going to do is we're just going to start typing in the contact name, and I'm going to back up here and type a little bit slower, but you'll notice that Lizzy actually has the entire application designed around Ajax. And what this primarily means to you is that as you start typing and you start doing things inside of Lizzy, you're going to notice that the application is actually giving you feedback in real time as you're doing things. So instead of typing information into a search box and then waiting to, hitting a search button to come back with a list of results, for example, in Lizzy, we search for specific things and then we are given a specific list as we're typing. So again, as I'm coming in, you'll notice here I've typed in BU and I've got a couple different people here. If I type in the R, because I'm going to put in Jason Burks, you'll notice that there's no results that come back. So at this point, we have an icon here that we can click to add a new contact. And you'll also notice that that thing was here all along. So at any point, for example, if I back up one and I've got this list, I can already see that Jason Burks is not in my list. So I need to go ahead and add them. So I don't have to finish typing everything out. I can go ahead and hit this add new contact button anytime I want. So now we have our add new contact control, and all we're going to do here is we're just going to type in the contact that we want to add. We'll put in the AZQ Inc. for the name of the company. This is a male. He's in the sales department. We can also tag this record as private, which basically is our way of telling Lizzy that only people or only employees in the company that have access to private customers can see this customer record. An example there may be that I want to add my bank along with the contacts for the bank, but I don't want all of the employees inside of NYSEX to be able to go and look at that contact record. So the other things we have here are we have the ability to track multi-locations, and multi-locations are, for example, NYSEX has multiple offices across the country, and we want to be able to associate customers specifically to those offices. It may be another example of having a dealership, say a car dealership that has multiple offices or a warehouse or things like that, and we have the ability to associate customers to specific locations within that company. The other things we have here are the address, email, and website, their birthdays and Social Security and other information. And then down here we have a list of phone numbers that we can use for that particular person. So we're just going to come in and put in a phone number for that particular employee, and then we're going to save this record. Now, once we save the information into Lizzy, we're now presented with the customer information control. And the first thing that I want to do here is I want to be a little bit more specific than to just say that this is a customer, because I would like to track my customers based on the industry that they actually work in, or maybe if it's a homeowner versus a commercial user. Depending on your business, there's a number of reasons that you may want to do this, but being able to differentiate my customer list gives me the ability to go in and run contact list. I can do mass mailings. I can export the specific industries list to do, to provide an Excel spreadsheet to another company. Whatever the situation comes up, these customer types are extremely handy. So what we're going to do first is change this to a golf course. So I'm going to select the edit button beside the contact type, and we're going to change them from a customer to a golf course. Now, while we're on the contact types, you have complete control over what you add to the contacts list for this list of types. Some of the things are going to be there. For example, customer is always there. Government agencies and expense vendors and those kind of things are already here, because Lizzy is not only a CRM system, but it can also be a complete business system. And so, for example, if you're setting up a manufacturer or other entities like that, you may want to go in and actually provide accounting information and other relevant information for that account record. So when you select those types of account types or contact types, you'll be presented with a whole lot of other options that you can provide as well. So in this case, we're just going to go ahead and close the contact types. We have an office hours control over here. We also, down here at the bottom, we have a list of additional contacts. Now, I mentioned that we don't track separate things for leads versus contacts versus accounts. We actually provide everything you want to know about that company right there on that company's record. So to add another contact, let's say there's another person that works at this particular company, all I've got to do is select the green button and type in the information for that person. So we'll just come in and say Jill Smith. She's also in the sales department. Let's say we don't know her phone number yet. We just got, whatever information that we have here. We can add a note down here, met her at company meeting, whatever it is that we want to do, and then we'll save the record. So now when we're viewing this contact record, we actually have the company name. We have a primary contact, which is the first customer or first employee that we added in, and we can change that at any point we want. And then we have a list of additional contacts with their names and information as well. And we can have notes on each individual one. So as you can see, it's extremely easy to go in and create a contact record inside of Lizzy, and there's also a lot of built-in additional functions and processes, and obviously we can't cover them all in this video. I just want to kind of give you a really quick overview of how you go into Lizzy and add a new contact.